Hello, Michael E. Parker here, or another episode here on YouTube here at You Are a CEO, and we are talking about punching to succeed. Now, I have a wonderful, wonderful show lined up here, and we're going to be talking about so many different things that you won't expect. I have such a great guest and friend on the show, Miss LaDonna Medina, who is the founder of Gymnanigans, kind of like shenanigans, I'm told, but it's Gymnanigans, and maybe we'll learn more about that. And you're going to learn more about this. LaDonna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here with you. This is great.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine. And I want all of you that are here, I want you to know we're going to have a discussion today, and we're going to talk about, what is this whole thing about punching and stuff? And then I'm talking about succeeding. And, what does this all have to do with anything that is related to us, really beginning to grow and be more in our life. And I'm so excited to have LaDonna here, and LaDonna is in her studio there. Let me give them maybe a full picture of her. I want them to see her background. Yeah, look at all that you are in. Now, why don't you tell people, before we go deeper, tell people what you do and why are you in this environment with punching bags and all kind of, I see some weights back there and all kinds of things. What do you do?
So I'm an exercise physiologist and boxing coach. So I help people's physiology or their internal organs and systems adapt. So if you have a condition or you're trying to increase your strength, your mobility, I help with that. And I use boxing fitness as an element for helping people because it's a great physical activity, in my opinion. And plus it adds, some fun to the whole workout experience.
Oh, that is really, really interesting. And I want to get a lot into this. And as you all know that come here to URCO, we love, talking about stories and people and issues and information that really promote personal growth, but we also love entrepreneurship. And LaDonna, I know you are an entrepreneur, and this business has really been built as a vehicle to help people, which I really love. But before we go into that, though, I want to talk about you a little bit, because how did you get involved in this boxing thing? Like, tell me a little bit about your background and were you in the sports, was athletic? Tell me how you kind of arrived to this, love with boxing.
Sure. No, definitely not athletic, not at all. I think I played tennis for about 3 months while I was in high school, and that didn't work out well. So it wasn't until I was 30 years old that I got into exercising and working out. I noticed that my body and my mind and just the way I felt internally was changing, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't go to the doctor and ask them. I just thought, okay, I'm just getting older. At 30, having problems going up and down the steps. So it was a sibling of mine. They looked at me. Hopefully this is not too harsh, but this is the way we talk to one another. She looked at me. She's 8 years younger. She said, "You're fat." And I said, "Yeah."
No, she didn't?
No, she did. She did. And I agree with her. I said, "I am." I said, and this is what's happening. She went in her purse, pulled out a 3-day pass to Gold's Gym. She said, "You need to go work out." Well, I've never worked out before, not saying that I didn't need to. I didn't know about it. It wasn't part of my life. I went for walks and different things like that, but never a gym. So that following Monday, 6 a.m., we went to the gym. I sat on the recumbent bike for 60 minutes and saw everybody else in I call it the pit, where they would work out with weights and different things. And I was like, wow. And I noticed their physiques. And then it's like, okay. So I just started going regularly, not knowing that my consistency was going to bring about this physical change to where I started to feel better. Wow. Like I wasn't huffing and puffing, going up and down the steps. I noticed my physique was changing, and I didn't put two and two together necessarily, understand how exercise physiology work and how your body adapted. I was enjoying myself. It was like, I got this great activity. I'm running better. And then I'm teaching myself how to lift weights. I didn't have a coach at the time or a trainer. So that's how the journey actually started. And fast forward, down the line, that's when I became a trainer. But that's the short version.
No, I know there's probably a lot to that, but like basically this started from a health and fitness goal of just wanting to be more fit, wanting to take care of your body, wanting to get in shape. And from that, you started to see that boxing was a way to, really, and I imagine you weren't like having matches with people and doing, what they call them, where they're actually, different people you're getting in the ring and you're kind of sparring and things like that. Were you doing some of that, or is this just kind of like, wow, I really love the movements of this particular sport that allow me to exercise so many parts of my body, and I can build a fitness and health goal around this particular discipline? So how far did you go with that?
So with the boxing, I didn't start that till maybe close to 15 years after my fitness journey. I had met someone in the gym. It was a family-owned gym, and there was a Golden Gloves winner who would come to the gym, and they told me he boxed. I've always liked martial arts. Like I started out, when I was a kid watching wrestling. Yeah. Yes, my parents said it was fake, but I liked the athleticism. That wasn't fake. Jumping off the ropes. I like that.
Did you watch WWF?
And you know it? Yes, I did.
You know Jimmy Superfly and Junkyard Dog
and Randy Savage. Yes.
Nikolai Volkov. You remember Nikolai? And oh my goodness, this is
all the old school ones.
Yeah, we telling our age right now, but you kind of hit me on that. I remember that coming off the turnbuckle and the main event on Saturday nights. I remember
athleticism. Yes, loved it. And then as I grew older, I started liking boxing. I would just watch boxing. I don't know what it was. I didn't understand the sport necessarily, but I liked the arena aspect of it, the high energy. I love the athleticism, and I like the one-on-one combat. I like that. But fast forward, I met the Golden Gloves winner, and I said, "Look, hey, train me." Not knowing what it would turn into. So for $20, 30 minutes, he would train me, and I was like, "Wow. This is great." And so when I decided to move forward with my studio, I wanted to integrate it, but I wasn't knowledgeable enough really to integrate it. So I actually hired him to train my clients. I would do the strength and conditioning, and he would do the boxing. And then one day I realized, what are you doing?
Right.
You can do this yourself. You just need to practice and implement it. So that's how that happened.
So that entrepreneur kind of mindset kicked in, like, wait a minute, I see an opportunity here where I could serve at a higher level. Because really, entrepreneurship is about serving people and giving value. And they're giving us money in exchange for a real value we're giving them. And you start saying that you could really put something together that could be organized and really help people. And it sounds like you begin to take the health and fitness aspect first, just understanding more about the body and about health and about fitness. Then you learned about boxing, and it sounds like you then merged the two together to create something that could get results for people. Am I seeing that right?
That is exactly what happened, because I didn't understand how I could implement the boxing and make it make sense until I started studying what boxing really was and how our body starts to adapt to those different movements. And then I was able to relay that information to people. It's like, no, it's not about aggression or just punching a bag. This is what's happening internally.
Right. So before we kind of switch gears here a little bit, when you think about just, learning about boxing, and I just happen to have had the pleasure of seeing some of the things you've done, or like seeing you work with people, seeing you post with people you're helping to transform their lives. And you do such an excellent job. I think you're just a wonderful coach. And one of the things that, when you think about boxing, there's some mechanics and some, specifics that if you do it right, there's a right way to throw a punch. There's a right way to use your body, to use your legs, your core, your stance, right? So when did you get to, how do you find that balance between getting to the highest level of boxing expertise and then just really using the movements to help someone get more healthy, right? They might not want to go there. They're not trying to go fight nobody, but you're finding that balance. So how do you be true to what boxing is about and still stay focused on, it seems like your main goal is to help people be healthy?
I like that. It's understanding that I tell clients when they come in for the consultation, I take elements of boxing. You're not going to take what I teach you and take it to the ring.
Right.
It doesn't correlate because
Right.
it's very choreographed what I do, because I am trying to develop a higher level of fitness. I'm trying to develop more coordination and balance. And because we're working on that while using boxing, you're not spending a lot of time on developing a skill. We're using it more for physical fitness, not necessarily skill development. However, I will put you in your proper boxing stance, make sure that you are pivoting correctly, using the right foot when you're moving forward and backwards, and lateral movements. But I tell everybody, you're not going to go to the Golden Gloves with me. It's
Right.
not going to happen.
Right.
If you want that, you got to get a dedicated boxing coach.
Yeah, so you're kind of taking elements of something,
Yes.
and I love what you're talking about, because I love basketball, and I, to this day still use it, and I have a motivation around tying my health to a sport that I love, to where to be able to do that sport, I got to keep my cardio up, I got to keep my strength up, and I start using it and finding elements to find exercise within it. And it seemed like you've done that at the highest level, using boxing as a foundation. Now, I want to ask you something though. Let's switch gears here a little bit. When you think about boxing, now, this is a sport that's different from basketball, football, or some team sports.
Yes.
Sometimes something goes wrong, they can say the other guy did it. It was her fault.
Yep.
It was this one. But with boxing, you look across that ring and you see that opponent there. There is no excuses. It is all on you to perform. And you can have people to mentor and coach you, but when that bell rings, it is just you and that other person. How much do you feel and do you see a correlation between boxing and life itself? What do you see there? Because there's really something we're up against every single day if we really want to succeed in life.
I agree. I love that. How does it correlate? So if you look at the dynamics of a boxer, right? They have developed skill, they have developed a mindset, they have developed a high level of physicality, right? So in life, if we're trying to accomplish something, it's our mindset, right? How far can you go? How much can you push past your perceived limit? So with a boxer, they might be tired, right? And we've seen them. They start hugging their opponent, but do they give up, right? You might need help, but you don't give up. So the same thing in life. You got to find a way to win, to oppose your will over your opponent, which is whatever goal you're trying to reach.
Right.
And in regards to strength and conditioning, that's a major aspect. How much are you conditioned, to overcome these different obstacles? How much strength do you have and power, to push? I always say, how much can you push past your limit? Right. You tired at 2 minutes, but can you go 2.5 minutes?
Right.
So in life, it's like we can be so close to a goal, but we get tired, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have a business. But it's like, okay, let me just do a little bit more. Let me dig a little bit deeper. How can I pivot? It's like with a boxer, you might have to go at a different angle. You're not going straight forward. You got to pivot. Right. So how do we pivot? Like during COVID, we had to pivot.
Right.
So how do you do that in your life? You go into school. How do you pivot? You're not getting the grades that you want. You might not can register for the class you want right now. So how are you going to pivot that?
Right.
How are you going to overcome that? So boxing and life.
I mean, you were bringing out a lot of those correlations, and I want to think about it. Even if you go into layers and think about the offensive side of boxing in terms of I have to get my skills in a way where if the opportunity presents itself, I am able to attack the opponent, so to speak, whether that's a straight punch or a hook or an uppercut, whatever those things may be.
I love that.
I gotta know, I gotta have my weapons, right, that I can use. And wouldn't you say in life, this has a lot to do with skill development, right? Because if I get skills in business, in health, in entrepreneurship, in my career, whatever skills that I want, what I love about skills is no one can take those skills from you. They belong to you. And so when you spend hours and hours and hours, people like Muhammad Ali or Mayweather that were so skilled in the way they positioned themselves and the way they attacked, when you think about that with life, it seems like the more we develop skills that truly we master, when opportunities open up, right? Not necessarily to punch someone, but an opportunity for me to get a job or get a promotion or to move forward in a particular way. Do you see that relationship kind of with skill development?
Absolutely. I love that. Yes, definitely. So with skills, you can't be one dimensional. Like you can't just only have a right hook, right? That's the only way you need to have more in your arsenal. So with skills, whatever field that you're in, you need to do more. Like even with fitness, I wanted to know what was the next level. Surely having group classes is not it. Surely talking about weight loss is not it. So that's when I started studying more and understanding about exercise physiology, how it's, like I said before, how is the development of your internal organs and what have you to adapt to exercise. So the more you know, the more you can grow, right? So especially in business, the more, don't stay where you are, find a way to get above the pack, so to speak, to stand out.
Right. And I think what you talk about standing out, this brings me to another layer of boxing, which you kind of touched on it earlier, but positioning, right? So there's throwing punches and stuff, but as I know you get into, if you're not positioned right, no matter what you can do punching wise, it's not going to be effective. I would love with Mike Tyson how he would throw a few punches and then totally reposition himself, and the person wouldn't even know he left and he didn't hit you with something because he moved. And did you know in life, sometimes we have to be willing to reinvent ourselves or reposition ourselves or step outside the box. You changed your position when you begin to open your mind up to health and fitness, or when you went to that Gold's Gym, or when you spent that time with that boxing trainer. You changed your position and now you have a business, all because you changed positions. You reset yourself up. So, do you think that's another part of this, is just the agility and the ability to change positions? Because it seems like life constantly requires that we do that.
Yes, it does. So if you just stay in one place all the time, you're going to get punched. You're going to eventually get punched because your opposition is going to know what your offense and your defense is, right? So you change position, it's harder to get you, in boxing. But so in life, you change your position, you're going to stay, I say above the pack, but that's not really your competition. Your competition is you, right? You versus you. Right. So you're able to give clients or customers more than what they even expected because of that agility, right? Because sometimes people come to me, it's like, okay, I want some boxing fitness. How about this, this, and this? How's your health? What's going on with this? How are you feeling? Are you walking correctly? Do you have hip pain? Those different things. It's like, oh, you can help me with that? Yeah. Yes, I can. So having that ability, you keep that client for more than a week or just for an hour boxing session.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you touched on something, and that was the next layer I wanted to go to, is defense. And this is something that it doesn't get a lot of attention in terms of, when you think about boxing, everyone's talking about the knockout punch and the jab and all that. But the people who really last long, in the sport or are more successful are thinking about not getting hit, right? And I love what Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So tell me about what this has to do with life, how, we have to begin to think about, even within ourselves, there's things like self-awareness, there's things like insecurities, there's things like, how we feel about ourselves, that we got to have some defenses against even thoughts that we get. What do you think about the defense of life?
So with that, I think about confidence. Is when you was talking is confidence. So boxing or even exercising in general can build your confidence. Having that ability to, you embarrassed? Okay, no, I get embarrassed daily. All right. Every time I got to promote my business, but I got confidence. Okay, I can be embarrassed, but I can still get back in the ring and fight, right? So you have to be able to have that resilience. And it's like, okay, everything's not going to work out your way. You might get tagged a few times, but can you get up? Can you defend that punch again when it comes? Are you going to get some more skills to where when it comes, you're not as effective? And I love too, LaDonna, about the sport of boxing, and you touched on this, is that
when you do get knocked down, there's a count. You know, I think that's really deep, right? There's a count. Like, what if there was no count? What if boxing ended when you hit the ground, right?
Right.
But it doesn't.
Right.
Like, there's this
that's
count.
deep.
And everyone is watching to see, can you recover from getting knocked down? Like, literally for those seconds, you know, 1, 2, everyone's mind is on, can you recover? Like, don't you think this is such a powerful correlation with life? Because, as you said, we're gonna get knocked down. Something's gonna go wrong. And aren't you, you know, it's something about that count that is so powerful.
I love that. I never looked at that count, right? That doesn't mean you're out. It doesn't mean that they called it a TKO, a technical knockout. You still in the game. You still alive. So what are you gonna do? You gonna get back up? Or sometimes you get hit hard enough, it's gonna take a little. You might get up at 9.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
You got a nice little liver shot,
right?
But right in the liver.
Right.
But you recover. You get up. It's like, okay, I got hit. I got a 10 count. I'm good. I get hit again. I got another 10 count. I'm good. But sooner or later, it's gonna get called, right? So you're gonna try to not get called, right? To where you get a TKO.
Yeah.
But I love correlation. Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, and I mean, and we're just going deep into this allegory of boxing here today and success. And I think it just the last thing I just want to mention about this is that the whole ability to make adjustments and to have counters, right?
Yes.
So like, if I got knocked down, then I can't get up. Like, one thing is getting up. The other thing is I can't get up and be the same person.
Exactly.
Right? Because there's something that person is doing that's effective that has me on the ground. So I'm getting up. I got to get the energy to get up, but I also got to have the energy to get up and think about how to be different, right?
Yes.
How can I counter what is hurting me? And that's one of the most deadly punches in boxing. As you know, the counter punch is responding to someone who has put themselves out there and missed, and then that counter comes. It seems like this is another correlation to life is, how well am I able to stop doing what doesn't work? They say that's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, realizing it doesn't work. What do you say about that?
I like that. You are bringing out some really good aspects. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this.
Yeah.
So yes, you can't keep doing it. If you know your opponent, like in boxing, you know your opponent, what's in their arsenal, you start to pick them apart. Right? You start to see, oh, this is what happens when after they hit that hook, they go down a little bit. Right. All right. And they know I go down. So that's why they get me with an uppercut. All right. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change directions. I'm going to do something different, something more effective. But get this, sometimes you don't see what you need to do. But who helps you? Your coach, right?
Yeah.
Your coach helps you.
Yep.
So it's good to have a team that sees some openings, things that you can do better, because maybe you don't see it. You just don't see it. You might be too deep in the fight, right? You might be too deep in your business to where this is what I do. This is what I always do. I'm not never change it.
Yep.
But you keep getting knocked out.
Yeah.
So you need, or knocked down, so you need to change.
Yeah.
Something has to change. So reaching out to someone helps, right? Yeah. Or if you have that personal awareness, like, okay, let me take a beat, let me take a breath and see what I can change.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so well said. And I kind of want to, close with some thoughts about this, LaDonna. I mean, so well said, so powerful what you just mentioned. And it made me go to this kind of this critical area as well in boxing, is the fact that you have a corner. Like when the bell goes off, you have a corner to go to. And in those few seconds there, everyone's trying to help you get right, get ready for the next round. And as someone who is a coach, like, I do from life to business coaching, you're a coach. Right? Yeah. And we're trying to help people in different ways. And I just want to thank you so much for your contribution to coaching people and helping people be better, build confidence, be more fit, live longer days, have less pain. And so it's something about that corner that we've all got to be honest enough and open enough and humble enough to admit we all need coaching. We all need support. And it's the person who's not willing to go to the corner that will never be able to make adjustments because sometimes someone can see further than you who is outside of your fight, but they've been in their own fight before.
Yes. I love that. I was that person at one time. It's like, I can do it. But I had this thing. Is that insecurities?
Right.
Why? You don't want people to see your flaws, that you don't want to reach out for help? Stop playing. If you get someone that knows more than you, they can help you go further. Right. And then you won't have those trip ups or those knockdowns all the time because they see further, they've experienced it, they have that knowledge and education to help. And sometimes you don't need a coach forever. Right. You just need a coach for that period of time to help you through that milestone so you can win. Now, if you need a coach again, they're right there for you. They know who your business is. Like, you're a great coach. And I've been to you, during COVID. I was like, man, this is different. I don't know what to do. And you just seeing your videos, you are a CEO. It's like, okay, it took me a minute to do it. I said, okay, let me just do this. And it was the best decision I made because you opened up my mind to, okay, try this. How about this? And no, I didn't want to listen at first. Okay, I did. But it is like, be quiet, just implement it. It's like, oh, okay, that's painless. That's painless. So it's sometimes like that in boxing, especially when you get a boxer has been on their own, the free agent boxer, and they get a coach because they went. I think there was a fight recently where somebody's coach was fired because when they went to the corner, they wasn't helping them. All right. They was like, you doing good. But he was losing every round. Right. So why stay in that situation? Look for someone who can push you further than where you are.
That's beautiful. So you got to have the right coach. That's not just the coach, but the right coach. And that brings me to LaDonna. I know as people listen to this, I've seen you coach. I've seen you speak. I've seen you inspire. And so people that are hearing this, if they might want you to coach them. They might be wanting to improve in their fitness and mobility and so many things. How does someone contact you if they want your services or your help? What is the type of person that you focus on helping?
Yeah, absolutely. So I focused on helping anybody who's looking to get a higher level of fitness, that wants to dedicate time and energy and be committed to the process, because it's not an easy process. It's not something that's going to come overnight. So that person can always go, even if you're not there to where I'm ready to commit to something. Maybe you don't know what you're ready to commit. You just want to talk to someone. You can always find me online at jimnanigans.com. You can read my blogs. I have links there to where you can actually schedule a consultation with me, and we can talk, chat about what you actually need. Sometimes you don't need to see a coach right then. You just need information, digest that, and then move forward into, acquiring a coach. So I like people to take their time with the process, because it is a dedication that matters. It matters because I want you to win. I want you to be able to see where you are now and have an end of your goal. It's like, man, I did this. Yeah, it took 3 months. It took 6 months. It took a year, but I did it. And now this is where I am. Yeah. So go online, jimnanigans.com, and there you find me.
I love it. I love it. And I want y'all to take note of something. When you know how you found a good coach will always tell you that you might not be a good fit to do the coaching just now. Yes. They're not going to force you into the program. They're not just thinking about money. They want you to get the results, because that's what is really what it's about. And so I love that you said that. It's so important that, if someone's not a fit, maybe not ready for coaching, that you'll tell them that, and then, be there for them when they're ready for that. And so let me ask you this. Do you want to give one final word to people out there that's watched this episode and they've heard us talking about boxing and success, and maybe they're in a struggle right now in their mind, maybe they're dealing with something, and when we think about this topic here today, just give a final thought to those out there who might be watching this.
Absolutely. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. You brought out various elements that I haven't thought about. So with boxing, I just want folks to know that it's not about aggression, it's about progression. How we'll see someone punching someone, but that's not really what it's about. It's about tactic and technique. And that's what we can carry through our life. having tactic and technique, having skills, having physicality, having your mindset right. So if that's what you're trying to do in life, boxing can actually help with that. Boxing fitness. I always want to put that in. So that can actually help with developing those different aspects or elements in your life. So don't think about, oh, I'm going to hurt somebody. No, you're not, because we're not sparring. Okay. We're not going to simulate a fight at all. We'll use bags to do it. Maybe even air punches. I have I had an 80-year-old woman who was doing boxing fitness because she had Parkinson's. So she definitely wasn't thinking about hurting someone or punching someone. She was thinking about increasing her fitness levels. So look outside of what you're possibly doing. You don't have to do boxing fitness, but look at other types of exercise modalities or physical activities that can help. You want exercise or a physical activity that's boosting your cardio, endurance, balance, and your strength. And boxing does all of that.
Well said, LaDonna. That was perfect. That's a perfect cap to this wonderful episode. I want to thank you so much for being on this episode, LaDonna. This was fun. We got to do this again one day.
Yes.
And I want all of you out there that have seen this episode, I want you to make sure that you like and you subscribe and you comment here on the YouTube channel. Make sure if you are in the area and you need support and help and assistance in these areas, LaDonna is a wonderful coach, and you definitely will get true services that will transform your health and help you to live a better life. All of you here, make sure though, no matter what, do something. Don't just sit down. Don't just stand still. Get in the fight. Get in the ring. Swings those punches. Make sure you're willing to get back up. Make sure you're willing to still push yourself to be great. Do not let life beat you up. Don't let your own thoughts beat you up. Fight for your future. Fight for your success. And make sure at the end of the day, there's only one real opponent in this life, and it's you versus you. I'm Michael E. Parker. This is You Are CEO. Until next time, keep on swinging so that you can win the fight of life. I'll see you next time.